Welcome back to Psychology of Humans. Epicurus is one of the most misunderstood figures in philosophy. His name is often associated with indulgence, pleasure, and excess. But the reality is almost the opposite. Epicurus did not teach people how to chase pleasure. He taught people how to stop suffering. Long before psychology existed, Epicurus built a practical system for mental well-being, one focused on reducing anxiety, managing desire, and freeing the mind from unnecessary fear. His question was simple: what does a happy life actually require? Pleasure, as the absence of pain. Epicurus believed pleasure is the foundation of a good life, but not the pleasure most people imagine. For him, pleasure meant freedom from physical pain, freedom from mental disturbance. He called this state ataraxia, calmness of mind. This is a psychological insight that still holds today. Much of human suffering comes not from lack of pleasure, but from excess desire. We don't suffer because we don't have enough, we suffer because we want what we don't need. Epicurus taught that happiness increases when unnecessary desires decrease. 3 types of desire. One of Epicurus' most important contributions is his classification of desire into 3 types. 1. Natural and necessary desires. These include food, shelter, rest, safety, companionship. Fulfilling these leads directly to well-being. 2. Natural but unnecessary desires. These include luxury food, excess comfort, status pleasures. They are enjoyable but not required for happiness. 3. Vain or empty desires. These include fame, power, endless wealth, social approval. These desires have no natural limit and create constant anxiety. Epicurus believed most psychological distress comes from chasing the 3rd type. Fear, as the root of anxiety. Epicurus identified fear as the primary cause of mental suffering. 2 fears in particular: fear of the gods, fear of death. He argued that fear of punishment, fate, or divine judgment keeps people anxious and controllable. Epicurus rejected this completely. He taught that the gods, if they exist, do not interfere in human affairs. Therefore, fear of divine punishment is irrational. As for death, Epicurus delivered one of the most powerful psychological reframes in history. When we exist, death is not present. When death is present, we do not exist. In other words, death cannot be experienced, so fearing it makes no sense. This reframing reduces existential anxiety dramatically. Friendship as psychological safety. Unlike many philosophies focused on the individual alone, Epicurus emphasized friendship. He believed friendship provides emotional security, mutual support, shared joy, protection against fear. For Epicurus, friendship was not optional, it was essential to happiness. Modern psychology agrees. Social connection is one of the strongest predictors of mental health. Simplicity over stimulation. Epicurus warned against overstimulation. He believed a simple life creates clarity, stability, peace. Constant stimulation dulls satisfaction. When pleasure becomes excessive, it loses its power. This insight maps directly onto modern dopamine research and addiction psychology. Control and contentment. Epicurus taught that happiness comes from focusing on what is within your control. You can control your beliefs, your desires, your choices. You cannot control fate, fortune, others' opinions. Psychological peace comes from adjusting desire to reality, not reality to desire. Epicurus versus modern misinterpretation. Epicureanism is often caricatured as indulgence, but Epicurus himself lived simply, ate modest food, and valued quiet conversation over luxury. His philosophy is closer to minimalism, mindfulness, stoic calm, modern cognitive therapy. Epicurus was not teaching pleasure-seeking, he was teaching suffering reduction. Why Epicurus matters today. In a world of constant comparison, stimulation, and anxiety, Epicurus offers a radical message: you don't need more, you need less fear. Happiness is not found in accumulation, it is found in contentment, simplicity, and peace of mind. Final thought. Epicurus reminds us that happiness is not intense excitement, it is calm satisfaction. You don't need to win life. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need endless pleasure. Happiness is already closer than you think. Thanks for watching Psychology of Humans.